Gunmen killed close aides of Mexico City's mayor in a brazen daylight attack. Mayor Clara Brugada called the murder of her personal secretary and advisor a direct attack. Powerful winds sent debris flying after a tornado touches down in Tennessee. At least 28 people have died in the U.S. due to recent severe weather conditions. The president of Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, Alberto Musalem, says tariffs will have a negative impact on the U.S. economy and the job market, but he added that monetary policy is well positioned to respond to any changes in the economic outlook. Visitors to the Fenyang Drum Tower in eastern China scramble for cover as the roof collapses. Built in 1375, the tower is one of the largest in China that used to announce ceremonies and the time of day.
As we go to air tonight, nearly 50,000 people are isolated in an unfolding flood emergency on the state's mid-north coast. The town of Taree is the epicentre. Dozens of residents rescued from their rooftops, hundreds more fleeing their homes with what little they could grab. The threat is not only far from over, it's widening, with the focus now shifting north.
Coming to the rescue, but it almost didn't go to plan. Record-breaking floodwater meant this was the only way out for Holly Pilotto, a crewman plucking her from her home in River Street in the Taree suburb of Glenthorne. In the countdown to her rescue, Holly had made an SOS call on the Today Show.
Our neighbours here on the back veranda here, they are also stranded.
And her mother on safe ground was watching and waiting.
Yeah, chopper coming to get them right now.
It was all part of a mass evacuation. A friend of Holly and her 2-year-old son were airlifted as well, and then a neighbour. And from the view of their rescue chopper, a steadily sinking CBD. The Manning River overflowing like never before.
Oh, this is the worst I've ever seen it.
Locals feared this was coming. The signs were there last night.
Water's at the back steps. It's going to be a sleepless night.
By sunrise, those who could swung into action.
We just rescued someone from this house over here, and he's now, the SES has taken him to try and find him his epilepsy medication.
A local dairy farmer was found floating on a mattress in his bedroom. People abandoning their homes, knowing there will be little left when they return.
It's broke my heart. It has. It's broke my heart. But I feel sorry for everybody, not just me. But it's ripping my guts out.
A lot has been learned since the Lismore catastrophe in 2022, and the response here has been swift.
We do know we've got people on roofs. We're in contact with most of those people.
And the rescues continue. A flotilla of dinghies ferrying the now homeless to an uncertain future.
Have you got somewhere to go?
We don't even know where we're going.
Evacuation centres are filling up with hundreds of people, and it seems everyone has a story.
It was extremely fast all around us. Fences were just being swept, half the house was getting broken off and running downstream.
Feathered and furry friends weren't left behind.
The SES came along mid-morning and got us out with the cat and the dog.
Safe and dry, but dreading what's ahead. How are you feeling now? What's going through your head?
Oh, what we're going to go through when we go home. Yeah.
With even heavier rainfall forecast for the coming days, this emergency is far from over. Floodwaters are expected to stay at record levels tonight and into tomorrow. So there is more heartbreak to come. Erin Ramsey, 9 News.
And Erin is in Taree for us this evening. Erin, the SES has just given an update.
Well, Pete, evacuation orders have just been issued for Kempsey, Maxville and Redbank near Wauchope, with rivers further north now expected to exceed flood levels tonight. 100 flood warnings remain in place. Port Macquarie Airport now closed as the Hastings River continues to threaten that area as well. 48,000 people remain cut off from floodwaters as we go to air tonight. And with this rain not expected to ease anytime soon, it's going to be a very long night ahead for those communities and SES crews who remain on standby. Pete?
All right, Erin, thank you so much. Let's bring in Amber now. Amber, how much rain have these areas seen?
Good evening to you, Pete. We've seen some absolutely staggering rainfall totals over the past 3 days. Taree has been drenched with 454 millimetres. Turners Flat and Kookaburra Hut near Kempsey have seen more than 350. Port Macquarie has picked up a torrential 344 millimetres. Barraville near Nambucca Heads has received 288, with 255 millimetres falling in Kempsey. There is a severe weather warning in place for the mid-north coast and parts of the northern rivers, the Hunter, northern tablelands and northwest slopes and plains for potentially dangerous and life-threatening flash flooding. There are 109 flood warnings in place, including a major flood warning for the Macleay, Hastings, Manning, Gloucester, Patterson, Williams and Nambucca rivers. There is also a strong wind warning along most of the north coast and a hazardous surf warning as well. Sydney is next in the firing line. We're expecting more than 120 millimetres in the next 48 hours. I'll be back with that forecast a little later, Pete.
Amber, thank you.
Tons of hand sanitizer have burned after a shed exploded in flames at Anarchy near Geelong. As Selena Zhang explains, the monster blaze is now the subject of an arson investigation.
Swallowed by flames, these tin sheds stood no chance. Toxic smoke filled the night sky just after 6 last night, fuelled by 70 tonnes of hand sanitizer.
Exploding in there. Hope there's no one in there.
More than 100 firefighters called to battle the blaze.
Come on, boys.
Only extinguished late this morning.
That's packaged plastic bottles within cardboard boxes and all sitting on pallets. And that's pretty much what is now causing us the problem as we try and just extinguish that.
This mechanic lost everything. A client's minibus reduced to a shell. The sheds were mainly used as storage for a waste recycling business. The hand sanitizer was delivered in September 2023, but the owner says he wasn't told it was expired and needed a permit to be stored. In a statement, the EPA confirmed it already issued notices of a large quantity of expired hand sanitizer, and at the time of the fire, it had started working with the owner to dispose of it.
That's someone's livelihood too. You got to think of that. Like, that's horrible, whatever it is.
Now, a joint investigation with the arson squad has been launched. All parties involved, including the supplier, will be interviewed. No charges have been laid over the fire or the storage of the sanitizer.
A growing list of social media influencers are being violently killed. And now, 22-year-old Maria Jose Estupiñan from Colombia has joined that list. Her death comes just 2 days after Valeria Marquez, a Mexican influencer, fatally shot while live streaming on TikTok. Online communities are pointing to disturbing similarities in both cases. Estupiñan, known online as La Mona, was a college student with nearly 45,000 followers on TikTok. According to a local media outlet, on May 15th, she was on the porch of her home when she was approached by a man posing as a delivery driver who presented her with a fake gift. Moments later, he pulled out a gun, shot her, and fled the scene on foot. It is unclear if that suspect at the scene was caught. The attack happened just 1 day after she won a domestic violence case against her ex-boyfriend, who was ordered to pay her around $7,000 US. Now, authorities are investigating him as a primary suspect. Just 2 days earlier, on May 13th, a similar tragedy unfolded in Mexico. Influencer Valeria Marquez was live streaming from her beauty salon, where she had more than 113,000 followers. She told her viewers she was feeling a little uneasy after learning that someone had dropped off an expensive gift while she was out. For about 3 minutes, she discussed it on live, saying things like, "Dude, I'm already intrigued as to who sent me that," and "Dude, I thought about it, but I asked him and he didn't answer me." She even joked that maybe the person who sent the gift wanted to kidnap or kill her. A Jalisco police spokesperson told the Associated Press that the delivery man was masked. During that same live stream, she was handed a stuffed animal and a bag containing a Starbucks drink. Moments later, Marquez said they're coming before a man entered the salon. Marquez muted her stream after greeting him and was then shot in the chest and head while still on camera. She was pronounced dead at the scene when medics arrived. Viewers who saw the live stream believe the employee in the salon may have known what was happening. After the shooting, the employee walked over to the phone expressionless and ended the stream. A spokesperson for Jalisco police told the Associated Press that another murder of a former congressman took place just hours earlier in the same area. Like Marquez's killing, that incident was also carried out by men on a motorcycle. So far, there have been no major updates in either case, but authorities say both investigations are still active. Outside of Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial, some protesters may be cashing in. Sean Diddy Combs' sex racketeering trial moves into its second week, and pictures have been circulating online of people outside wearing shirts with the words "Free Diddy" or "Free Puff" on the front. Journalist Emily Hagan has been covering the trial in New York and posted this video on social media.
She just got recruited, right?
I refuse.
You said no.
No.
It wasn't worth the 20?
One woman says she was offered $20 to wear a Free Diddy shirt. Another claimed they were paid $60 to stand outside for 3 hours. Commenters online are questioning whether organizers are paying and possibly exploiting unhoused people to create the illusion of grassroots support.
He told me that it's for a Diddy coin, so I'm not really sure what that is.
Turns out it might be tied to a new meme coin. Diddy launched May 8th, backed by Justin and King Combs, two of Diddy's sons. An official X account and website were even created to promote it. They are also running a contest offering $5,000 to the best Diddy meme. Now, it's still unclear who's behind the t-shirt push or if it's part of the coin's promotion. But inside the courtroom, the case against Combs continues. Last week, his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura took the stand, and according to NBC News, Danity Kane's Dawn Richard testified Monday, alleging she saw Combs throw a skillet filled with eggs at Ventura. Another former close friend of Ventura's shared similar accounts of physical abuse.
Without them, most of our crops would not grow. But the humblebee has been on the decline for decades. Now, a new report to mark World Bee Day has highlighted threats to their existence and the consequences this would have for global food production.
The sort of decline in pollinator continues. We are going to see significant food insecurity because the quality and the quantity of yield will reduce, but also pollination plays a huge role in the nutritious value. So micronutrients in the food are dependent on having good pollination. So not only will we have a reduction in the food quantity that we eat, the quality will also be seriously affected.
Despite the impact of pesticides, climate change, pollution and illnesses on bee populations, solutions exist. According to the report, technology could notably play a role in helping the insects.
I think we need stronger policies and regulations. We also can, I think, take advantage of lots of new and emerging technology that can help us monitor pollinator populations. So unless we know what's there and whether it's doing better or worse or at a status quo, unless we have those monitoring initiatives in place, we won't be able to know if something is declining.
Some other initiatives to protect bees include growing crops with more pollen and nectar, transitioning to electric vehicles to cut down on fumes, and creating more flower-rich habitats.
Traffic backed up on a main route in southwestern Pakistan on Wednesday morning as police dealt with a deadly attack targeting a school bus. Officials say at least 6 people died in the suicide bomb blast, including 4 children, while 38 others were wounded, some of them seriously. Today in the morning on the Quetta-Khusda National Highway, a school bus carrying students was targeted with so far 6 children killed and many wounded. Security officials told us that this was a suicide attack. There are fears the death toll may rise as several children are said to be in a critical condition. They were on their way to their military-run school in Khudza in the rest of Balochistan province when the attack took place. It's been the scene of a long-running insurgency involving an array of separatist groups. No one has yet claimed responsibility for the blast, but Pakistan's Prime Minister released a statement accusing what he called Indian terror proxies.
Gunmen killed 2 close aides of Mexico City's mayor in a brazen daylight attack. A CCTV video showed the moment when a gunman shot 2 top aides of Mexico City Mayor Clara Brugada. The victims were the mayor's private secretary, Ximena Guzman, and an advisor, Jose Munoz. Federal prosecutor's office said that it seemed Guzman had been driving to work and stopped on a busy avenue in downtown Mexico City to pick up her colleague. Munoz was approached by 2 gunmen on a motorbike who shot and killed him in the street. The attackers then fired at least 4 shots at Guzman inside the vehicle, killing her. Mayor Clara Brugada called the killings a direct attack on her. She said authorities were investigating the motive and checking surveillance camera footage to identify the perpetrators. She also vowed her administration would continue its relentless fight against insecurity.
Guzman was a wonderful, tireless, very good woman. And Jose Munoz, I've known him almost since he was a child. He was one of the most intelligent and responsible people I've ever met.
Political violence has become common in many parts of Mexico, where scores of local political candidates have been assassinated in killings, usually linked to drug cartels seeking to exert influence.
We mustn't mischaracterize things as a genocide and the like. It's not the case at all, because as we've seen, when you mischaracterize things like that and this misinformation gets out, it does have real-world consequences. And we've seen with the United States what those real-world consequences are. And I really hope that during the upcoming visit to Washington, the President is going to be able to put the facts before his counterparts and to demonstrate there's no mass expropriation of land taking place in South Africa. There's no genocide taking place. Yes, we have crime issues, but as a government we have committed resources and policing to deal with it.
Crime affects both black and white. I've been a victim of crime on the farm, and I'm not white, right? So I don't even think along those lines. We certainly don't. We're not inclined to think along those lines. We're not basing it on color at all. It's an issue of vulnerability, I believe, and as a result, farmers are easier targets.
We're not interested in going anywhere. The thing we want to do is be part of this country, produce enough healthy food. By doing so, grow the economy, providing jobs, empowering people. That's part of our business, and we would like to see more inclusive growth in our business. But we need some certainty, and one of those certainties is rural safety.
Shifting focus for now, Russia claims to have hit a training camp in a missile attack in Ukraine's Sumy region, killing at least 70 troops. The Russian forces reportedly targeted the 1st Separate Special Forces Brigade of the Ukrainian Air Defense Forces with the Iskander short-range ballistic missile system. The Special Forces were attacked during their training camp near Sumy region's Shostka town. The Russian forces conducted a recce of the area with a drone before unleashing the missile attack. Sources said 20 instructors were among the 70 troops killed in the airstrike. An ammunition depot was also destroyed in the Russian attack. The area was just about 45 kilometers from the Russian border. The Ukrainian armed forces being criticized for organizing a training camp close to the border area despite the ongoing offensive by the Russian forces in the region. Russian military saying it intercepted 159 drones launched by Ukraine over 12 hours, targeting several border regions, including Moscow. Meanwhile, the Kremlin said the Russian president visited the border region of Kursk on Tuesday, several weeks after Russian forces pushed Ukrainian troops out of the area. In other developments, Poland's prime minister has said that Warsaw is not going to deploy its troops in Ukraine. In a TV interview, he made it clear that Poland is not being pressured on this issue by its Western partners, and the US is also aware of Poland's stance. On the other hand, US President Donald Trump has downplayed concerns about Russia's alleged military buildup near Finland and Norway. Russia's military buildup near the Finnish border has raised concerns among NATO allies, with satellite images revealing new deployments and infrastructure expansion. This includes new tents, warehouses, and renovations to fighter jet shelters, indicating a potential long-term plan. According to reports, Russian military buildup reflecting its perception of Finland, NATO's newest member, as a threat to the country. Incidentally, both countries share an 830-mile border. According to a report published in the New York Times, the Finnish defense officials expect Russia to redeploy troops after the Ukraine war, tripling its troop presence along the border within 5 years. Asked to comment about the New York Times and Newsweek reports, Trump claimed that there was nothing to worry about and asserted that both countries are going to be very safe.
Mr. President, on Russia, are you worried about the reports on a military buildup along the borders towards Finland and Norway?
No, I don't worry about that at all. They're going to be very safe. Those are two countries that are going to be very safe.
Donald Trump has officially announced his plans for a Golden Dome missile shield around America. The US president says the protection system will shoot down incoming threats, but it comes at a staggering cost.
It's a pretty evil world out there.
And tonight, Donald Trump says he has the answer to protect America. The US president commissioning his so-called Golden Dome.
Hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles, all of them will be knocked out of the air.
The Golden Dome is an air defence bubble. It would sit over North America and use a constellation of satellites and space-based weapons to detect any incoming threat. The idea was first raised by Trump last year, the president suggesting the missile defence shield would be a system similar to Israel's Iron Dome.
The Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space.
A mammoth undertaking, which Trump says will be ready by the end of his term at a cost of $272 billion. An ambitious timeline and price tag. Estimates predict a system like this would likely cost almost 3 times that amount and take the next 2 decades to put in place.
This right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans.
And potentially America's northern neighbours.
We'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in and they want to see if they can be a part of it.
Donald Trump has repeatedly said he's creating a new golden age. Tonight, the US president adding in the Golden Dome. In the
Sudan has accused the United Arab Emirates of carrying out a drone attack on the wartime administrative capital of Port Sudan earlier this month. Speaking in New York on Monday, Khartoum's ambassador to the United Nations, Al-Arith Idris, alleged the operation was launched from a UAE military base with support from Emirati naval vessels in the Red Sea. It's the first time that Sudan has accused the Gulf state of direct military intervention in its civil war against the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Khartoum recently cut diplomatic ties with the UAE, accusing it of arming and funding the rebel group in the deadly war, which is in its 3rd year. The UAE has denied the accusation and did not immediately comment on this latest statement. Sudan is calling on the UN, the African Union and the Arab League to investigate the incident and hold those responsible accountable.
China appears to be building a smarter battlefield, one powered not just by soldiers and machines, but by artificial intelligence. And at the center of this technological transformation is one clear goal: preparing for a future war with Taiwan. At a recent military technology expo held in Beijing, Chinese defense firms showcased a range of AI systems designed to enhance everything from intelligence gathering to combat training. And these tools were not just theoretical, some of them had already been put to use. One startup from Beijing displayed an AI-driven flight training simulator. And the reference map, a region just off the coast of Taiwan. And that's no coincidence. These simulations are reportedly built for military drills around the Taiwan Strait. One of the company representatives behind this has confirmed that the PLA is actively using the system for daily flight training. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Other firms at the expo showcased AI assistants tailored for battlefield commanders. One that can process real-time data and guide military decisions on the spot, such as one Chinese firm located close to the Taiwan Strait that could offer more than 70 military application scenarios, including combat command and strategy simulation. All of which aligns with Chinese President Xi Jinping's statements made in March, where he directed the PLA to integrate advanced technology and stay battle ready. Meanwhile, Taiwan's president asserted his country's commitment to peace, but was equally clear that illusions will not protect the island, adding that Taiwan must strengthen its defenses even as it seeks dialogue.
Taiwan loves peace. Taiwan society believes in the goodness of people. I too am committed to peace because peace is priceless and war has no winners. But when it comes to seeking peace, we cannot have dreams nor illusions.
Taiwanese president's comments came on the same day as its military detected at least 6 PLA aircraft and 8 Navy vessels operating close to its borders. So what's happening here is no longer hypothetical. China is not just flexing muscle. It is programming machines for the Taiwan war.
And finally, we end today looking at a major escalation initiated by the Yemen-based Houthi rebels. They've announced a maritime blockade on Haifa, Israel's largest port. The facility is a crucial hub for international trade. And according to the Houthis, any ship docked in or heading to Haifa is now a legitimate target. In fact, for months, the Iranian proxy has targeted ships in the Red Sea that they claimed were linked to Israel. They say their actions are in response to Israel's hostilities in Gaza. And now, what does this blockade mean, and why is this threat much closer to home for Israel? Our final story has more.
Israel's biggest maritime gateway, the Haifa port, is under threat. The Houthis, a proxy group backed by Iran, have announced a maritime blockade on the facility. They claim any ship docked in or heading to Haifa will be attacked.
The Yemeni armed forces, relying on Allah and trusting in Allah, have decided, with Allah's help, to implement the leadership's directives to begin working to enforce a naval blockade of the port of Haifa. Accordingly, all companies with ships present in or heading to this port are hereby notified that, as of the time of this announcement, the aforementioned port has been included in the target bank. They are urged to take into consideration the contents of this statement and any subsequent announcements.
For months, the Houthis have disrupted global trade. Their attacks in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, which they say are in solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza, have forced reroutes, delayed cargo, and triggered Western retaliation. But why is the development concerning Haifa alarming? Until now, the Houthi strikes were concentrated in the Red Sea. But Haifa lies on the Mediterranean Sea, far from the Red Sea, which has been the conflict zone. Unlike the Ashdod port, which is close to the Gaza Strip and has seen repeated rocket threats, Haifa is in Israel's north and has largely remained insulated from direct attacks. Haifa is also the busiest and Israel's largest international seaport. Annually, about 30 million tons of cargo arrive at the facility. In 2023 alone, Haifa handled roughly 22.1 million metric tons of freight. Israel's main naval base is also located here. Haifa is a passage connecting Asia, Europe, and West Asia. It has also drawn foreign investment and attention due to its location. In 2023, India's largest port operator completed an acquisition of the port in partnership with an Israeli-based firm. In March 2025, Israel's government gave approval to a Chinese state-owned company to expand operations at Haifa's Bay Port. Israel largely depends on overseas projects to improve and run its ports. Some 98% of Israel's foreign trade passes through seaports. With the announcement of the Haifa blockade, the conflict is now sailing into Israel's heart of trade and closer to the country's shores.